All right, Shalom, Shalom. First and foremost, call Haloyim, Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rachaha Kodash, double honors unto the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule well. Salutations to you, sincere, hopeful, elect Akim, pushing the word of Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, in spirit and in truth. Ma'ah, Arabayim, Arabai, Alap, that's to say 144,000. And the Lashawan Kodash, that's what we are striving to be a part of. All right, the elect. So, this is a little bit of news from ABC News, and as you see, it says Hegseth calls rare meeting of large number of generals and admirals. All right, and hey, we are approaching war. You know, that is the only reason why all these generals and admirals will be called from wherever they're stationed at in the world. They've been summoned to this meeting. All right. And that's for the purpose of war. And we just recently had the Department of Defense renamed the Department of War. And that was for a purpose. And we're seeing why it was actually renamed that. Okay. So it says Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth has ordered a large number of general officers and admirals together next Thursday at the Marine base at Quantico, Virginia, according to 5 U.S. officials. 2 of them told ABC News they don't know what prompted this gathering of potentially hundreds of the U.S. military's most senior leaders. It is very rare to hold such a large meeting of general officers who are based stateside and overseas in one location, and for it to include the defense secretary. All right. The unusual meeting will also take place months after Hegseth ordered a 20% reduction in the number of officers in the 4-star rank. In addition to the 15 senior military officers he has removed from their posts, including General Charles Q.C. Brown Jr., and then chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staffs, and Admiral Lisa Fanchetti, the Navy's top admiral. The Secretary of War will be addressing his senior military leaders early next week, Chief Pentagon spokesman Sean Parnell said in a statement. Let me see if there's any more of this, because now it's pretty much just going to get into. Okay, hold on. Let me jump down. It says the invitation went out to commanders at the 1-star level and higher, as well as their command sergeant majors. Sources told ABC News this means several hundred of these high-ranking officials are expected to converge upon the Marine base at once. Overall, there are 838 total general officers and admirals on active duty. 446 of them are from the higher 2-star, 3-star, and 4-star ranks, according to the Pentagon's latest statistics from June, though it is difficult to ascertain the breakdown of how many officers are in command positions, various staff positions. All right, so it's more to it, but looking at certain analysis of why these admirals and generals and so on and so forth were summoned to this meeting next week, has been to pretty much get World War III started. On Brighteon.com, Mike Adams was going into his assessment of the situation, believing that the U.S. lacking in pretty much every field, from infrastructure to technology to food or so on and so forth. They're trailing behind the East, in particular Russia and China. So with U.S. being a failing economy, they have no choice but to initiate World War III, and he believes that that's why these generals were summoned. Which through the spirit, we believe that that's what it is. So in the interview or the segment that Mike Adams had, he mentioned a skiff. Um, and so what that is, and this is an AI overview. It says in the military and intelligence community, a skiff, however you want to pronounce it. So like it says a skiff is a sensitive, compartmented information facility. All right, is a secure, accredited area for storing and processing classified information, particularly top secret, sensitive, compartmented information. Okay, so pretty much the area where it's you can't have leaked information, because sending whatever he plans on telling them, you know, even using secured lines to deliver that information, it can still be intercepted by foreign nations. So to avoid that, that's why they go to this specific facility where, that doesn't even have the opportunity of happening. All right. So um, jumping here into Obadiah 1, I'm going to start at verse 6. It says, how are the things that Esau searched out? How are his hidden things sought up? All the men of thy confederacy have brought thee even to the border. The men that were at peace with thee have deceived thee and prevailed against thee, and they that eat thy bread have laid a wound under thee. There is none understanding in him. And all these nations that at one point in time, cater to Babylon's every command, have pretty much forsaken this place. All right, and the tariffs that Trump initiated or enacted or set forward into play when he came into office earlier this year was a major contributor to these nations backing away from America. Okay. Um, so the ones that used to, nations that used to depend on aid and things of that nature from Babylon have gone elsewhere. The Apostle Tahar did a video earlier this week going into Niger, Mali, and Burkina Faso, pretty much teaming up with Russia militarily, amongst themselves initially, and then, leaning toward Russia in regards to military action. All right, stepping away from the West, you know. Um, Verse 8, it says, shall I not in that day, saith Yahweh, even destroy the wise men out of Edom and understanding out of the mount of Esau? And we see that dealing with the West, we're here in America in particular, there's no understanding in this place, man. You got a maniac in office, just doing whatever the hell he wants to do, and it's unraveling, the economy. Okay. It says, and thy mighty men, O T-men, shall be dismayed to the end that every one of the mount of Esau may be cut off by slaughter. All right. So via, this war, World War III, the Edomites is going to be cut off, and T-men is the Germans. Their tech industry or manufacturing industry, being that German engineering is some of the best engineering in the world. That ain't even all that it's cracked up to be because of their policies, their decay that they're experiencing over there in Germany. Their infrastructure is collapsing as well. Okay, but in the end, the way the amount of Esau is ultimately going to be cut off is by way of you know as it states later in this chapter, the children of Israel pretty much burning Esau up. Okay, but before that, this war, this Third World War, is gonna contribute to Esau being reduced in number, all right, by way of slaughter. Okay. Joel 3, verse 9, starting at 9, it says, Proclaim ye this among the Gentiles, prepare war, wake up the mighty men, let all the men of war draw near, let them come up. All right. And you see that these other nations, are not just standing by idle while America, and in particular Israel, do whatever the hell they want to. Look at Iran, for instance. They fired back missiles and rockets at Israel and did some damage. They did a lot of damage to where you had the U.S. that had to be called in. Okay, so these nations are waking up, and getting ready and prepared for war. Okay, it says, beat your plowshares into swords and your pruning hooks into spears. Let the weak say, I am strong. So the, money that these nations used to use and have allocated for, infrastructure or agriculture or things of that nature, they're applying it to the production of nuclear weapons or weapons in general. Okay. It says, assemble yourselves and come, all ye heathen, and gather yourselves together round about, and thither cause thy mighty ones to come down, O Yahweh. All right, that being the angels. All right, and where they gonna gather is over in the Middle East. Okay, and it's gonna get into it. It says, let the heathen be wakened and come up to the valley of Jehoshaphat. All right, which is Yahweh Shaphat in the Hebrew, which is Yahweh's judgment. All right, which is over in Saudi Arabia. Okay, because Saudi Arabia is surrounded by two bodies of water. All right, you got the Middle East to the west of that, and you have the East to the east of that. Okay, and you're gonna have both roads link up right there in the east versus the west, pretty much link up right there in the valley of Jehoshaphat, the big sandbox, where the Lord is going to have his armies play. All right. So once again, verse 12, it says, let the heathen be wakened and come up to the valley of Jehoshaphat, for there will I sit to judge the nations round about. Put ye in the sickle, for the harvest is ripe. Come get you down, for the press is full, the fats overflow, for their wickedness is great. All right. And the Heavenly Father is going to have all these armies mustered there, because that's where the angels are going to come down and do their thing. Okay. So they're going to duke it out amongst each other. And then the angels is going to be, involved. Okay. The mighty ones. So where am I at? Verse 13, it says, put ye in the sickle, for her vats, for her harvest is ripe. Come get ye down, for the press is full, the fats overflow, for their wickedness is great. Multitudes in the valley of decision, for the day of Yahweh is near in the valley of decision. Okay. The sun and the moon shall be darkened, and the stars shall withdraw their light, or their shining, because that destruction is going to be so devastating that the aftermath of that is going to black out the sun. Okay. For some time, it's going to be a nuclear winter here on Earth, which is why the elect got to be beamed up in order to not have to deal with those conditions. All right. It says, the Lord Yahweh also shall roar out of Zion and utter his voice from Jerusalem, and the heavens and the earth shall shake, but Yahweh will be the hope of his people and the strength of the children of Israel. All right. So the elect of the nation of Israel, is going to be dependent upon Yahweh Hashem Yahushai and expecting deliverance via Yahweh Hashem Yahushai while all this is going on. Okay. But all these nations is getting prepared to meet up in the Middle East, and you got the U.S. All right, under Pete Hegseth, which is the defense secretary, getting these admirals and generals of the U.S. military prepared for that war, to initiate that war. Because Babylon is the instigator. All right, and they're getting these nations prepared for war. All right, so lastly, this is Revelation 8:13. It says, "And I beheld and heard an angel flying through the midst of heaven, saying with a loud voice, Woe, woe, woe." All right, which woe is destruction. All right, so it mentions it 3 times pertaining to World War I, World War II, and World War III. All right, World War One. I want to say that was in the 19 teens, somewhere around there, like 1918. Through 1920 something, and then World War Three. World War Two was 1939 through 1945, if I'm not mistaken. And we're pretty much in the beginning stages of World War Three, which is about to really go kinetic. All right, which it has already gone kinetic, being that you got Russia and Ukraine fighting. All right, but it's gonna escalate past that to where other nations is gonna get involved, and it's really gonna get kinetic. Okay, it says, to the inhabitants of the earth, by reason of the other voices of the trumpet, and there were angels, the trumpet of the 3 angels which are yet to sound. All right, so whoa, whoa, whoa. All right, destruction, destruction, destruction. World War I, 2, and 3. 2 have passed already, and 1 is about to really get hot and heavy. All right, so Lord willing, that was edifying. Till next time, I say shalom.